Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rayz Dayz, episode 175. This is a weekly diary podcast hosted by me, Ray Taylor. Every Saturday, I share updates on my journey as an artist, podcaster, business owner, and human being. I'm excited to share my experiences with you and hope that my journey can serve as a source of inspiration and positivity. In this episode, I am talking about the group art show that finally happened. I've been mentioning it every week for the past month or so. It finally happened at the Flat Black Gallery. I'm going to talk about it. I'm also going to be recapping my experiences during the Hurricane Hillary, the tropical storm that happened while I was recording last week. So talking about that today, and then also talking about getting into retro gaming with an emulator that I recently acquired, and also new art that I've got for my collection. Not created by me, created by somebody else, but as I like to do when I have the funds to do so, I like to collect other artists' work, and there's an artist that I enjoy, and I got one of her pieces recently. I'm going to talk about that. And as always, at the end of every episode, I will share something that I am thankful for. Let's start off with the summertime group show that happened at the Flat Black Gallery. That happened 2 days ago. I'm recording on a Monday for like a historic first. After the show, well, I guess I'll get to that when I get to that, but recording on a Monday, and I'll get to telling you why that is shortly. But Flat Black Gallery, I showed up, did all the prep that I do on Saturdays. Normally, I got most of it done. I just had to prep a few scripts, so finished doing that, and then left around 5, got there around 5:30. Right, there was already a good amount of people there. It started at 5. It was from 5 o'clock to 9 p.m. When I dropped off my painting, Pete, the guy who runs the gallery, who owns Flat Black, the art supply store that's also a gallery that has a tattoo shop next door, all of that stuff, he said that when I asked what time I should show up, he said usually people show up like an hour after, then there's like another wave of people later on in the evening. And I planned on going around when it opened and just to stay as long as I felt like being there and then just leave. So I showed up a little like 5:30-ish, so a little after it opened. It was already starting to pop off, which was good. Apparently the attendance was really great throughout. There always seemed to be a good amount of people coming in through. A lot of the other artists seemed to show up probably around 7 o'clock maybe, which, it was a good amount of people. I ended up leaving around, it wasn't quite 8 o'clock yet, but around 8 o'clock. And I'm not an extrovert. I'm antisocial. So when I'm in a group of people that I don't know, I kind of just keep to myself. Plus, the couple artists that I did know, a lot of them were having conversations and I didn't want to butt in or whatever. A lot of them I haven't met in person. The colorblind artist Ty, who had a solo show there a few weeks ago, he showed up, so I caught up with him. He is one person that I knew. We talked for a bit, talked about our experiences during the tropical storm, and just see what shows he's got coming up that I'm also going to be doing, which I'll talk about that later in the upcoming events. But was able to catch up with him. That was pretty early on. And then, but for the most part, I was just kind of making my rounds, making myself available. There was a woman that asked me to take pictures of her. Then she asked if I was one of the artists, and then she was like, "Oh, I love it," and she followed me and took pictures of me, which was all very awkward. I am not used to having pictures taken of me. I am not used to taking pictures of other people. And but she was a very sweet lady. She bought me a drink. She bought me a Liquid Death, which I was drinking Liquid Death all night. I never had Liquid Death before. Obviously, I knew the product existed. On my way there, I stopped by a 7-Eleven to pick up some water. Noticed they had it, so I got some sparkling water from there, which I love their stuff. I'm probably going to drink it more regularly. And they sold it at Flat Black, so she bought me one. And never drank it before, and that night, probably the most hydrated I have ever been. Very hydrated, drinking a lot of sparkling water. But very nice lady. She took pictures of my work and took pictures of me, and I took pictures of her, and she's very nice. And then she left. And then there was also a videographer there who was interviewing artists. He approached me after a while, and I did an interview, which was interesting. It was, I'm not used to necessarily talking about my art in an interview style. I mean, doing the live shows, the 111 night markets, and so forth, people ask me questions about my work. But this was more of a traditional type of an interview. And it went well. Could have gone worse, could have gone better, but I thought it was pretty good. It's weird. Because I do this show and podcasts and things like that, I can ramble on. I can talk about stuff. And there were moments while I was rambling on in my answers where he was like checking his camera and just like, I don't know. I got very much in my head during that interview. And I don't know. I'm sure it went well, but I was just so much in my head. And after the interview, my back was kind of hurting. My feet were kind of hurting. And I kind of made myself known that I was there. Obviously, I'd done my interview in front of my art piece. So if anybody wanted to talk to me, they could come up, introduce themselves, say hi, whatever. Nobody did. The two artists that I recognized from social media had their crews there, and they were having conversations. So didn't want to, I'm not one to put myself in situations, but I was available. I was there. And when it seemed like there was, nobody wanted to talk to me or whatever, I just kind of left. Stepped outside for a moment just to kind of decide what I wanted to do. And then once I got outside, I was like, I think I'm just going to go. And I just Irish goodbyed, which I don't think anybody cared. Pete I'm sure didn't mind. It was a great thing. He messaged on Instagram that it was a great show. He thanked everybody for showing up. I thought it was amazing. There was a lot of people there. I don't think my painting sold. There was one painting that sold, and there were people there to look at for a couple artists. They were new. So it's interesting kind of being in a group show where some people know each other. I don't really know anybody in the, aside from people that I know online. It's hard to know what people look like. People would know me because I did like 4 promos for the show on this show. So what I look like and seeing my work and all that stuff, I was there. I had my presence. I was there. But I think because I was so much in my head about things, I had a weird mental health type of a flip-flop. Feeling good all week. Pretty balanced week. At the show, felt good. But for whatever reason, when I left the group show, I started getting this massive wave of depression. And went to driving home, I hadn't eaten at all, and I was thinking of what I could eat, but I couldn't make a decision of should I go to Red Robin and get a burger and sit down, maybe have a drink or two? Should I just go through some drive-through, get some fast food? Should I go to a grocery store and just get groceries? I couldn't make a decision. Ended up at Target, which I haven't been to Target since before the pandemic. Walking around Target, I was just feeling more and more depressed. It was kind of crazy how just spiraling out of control. Ended up getting some food, ended up getting some alcohol, came home. I was planning on waking up Sunday to record, do my normal Sunday. I got everything prepped Saturday, so I didn't have to do anything Sunday. But for whatever reason, because of my mental health, I got home and just started drinking and drank a lot. So Sunday, I was hung over, just completely out of it all day. Woke up like around noon and then went back to sleep for a few more hours. Really didn't do anything yesterday except for sleep. And I was just like, well, I'll just sleep today, and then Monday I'll wake up and I'll produce the show, and the first episode, Monday's episode, will come out late. I didn't even post my social media stuff yesterday. Let's take a quick break from this episode to talk about attention all Ray Taylor Show fans. We're excited to announce we've just released a line of exclusive merchandise featuring original artwork inspired by the show. Our high-quality shirts and biodegradable phone cases are a perfect way to show your support for the show and make a great gift for any fan. Plus, with each purchase, you'll be helping us continue to bring you great content. So don't wait. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com now and check out the full collection. Thanks for listening, and we hope you'll show your support by grabbing some Ray Taylor Show merchandise today. And now, let's get back to the show. And even today, I feel like, it's like, I was feeling good for the week. Then the art show happened, and for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, what triggered everything, being at the show, not knowing anybody, not really, having the, what I thought was going to happen in my head of the show, getting to meet all these artists. I was excited to meet all the artists that were there, but I didn't know who was what, and I'm not going to go up to people and just hey, I'm an artist. Are you one of the artists? I don't know. I'm very much, I'll be there. I don't mind talking to people. I'm not going to avoid people. That's what I'm there for. But at the same time, I was maybe a little disappointed in that in my head during the interview. And then afterwards, kind of just feeling really alone, where it seemed like everybody had their groups and their cliques and their crews, and I was just kind of there alone and didn't know anybody, and nobody knew me, and I was just like, I should just go, and hadn't eaten. So a combination of all of those things, and then of course coming home to drink, probably not the healthiest thing, but I don't know. My mental health and my just overall brain function is pretty altered at the moment, compared to what I was having a good week, and now it's just I just kind of want to go to sleep and not think about anything and not really do anything, and I don't have anything coming up really that I need to do, but it was a weird kind of 180 of feeling not necessarily overly good, but just having a nice week, and then all of a sudden just very depressed. Last week, so that was the art show. It was a great show, great artwork. Wish I'd got to meet more artists, but I showed up. The show went well. Hopefully the interview was good. We'll see when that comes out. And it was nice to meet a couple people there. So overall, it was a good experience. Last week, barely made my 2 deadlines for the UGC stuff that I did. Barely. One was a few hours early that I submitted. Not early, before the deadline was up. And the other one was 20 minutes. The one that I recorded during the show last week. Which turned out great, but they didn't like it. They rejected it, and they liked it. It's just not what they wanted. They didn't want the podcast style, and I told them it was that's literally from my podcast. So when I thought I did a 2 birds 1 stone last week, I was very wrong. They want something that looks less produced, but which is fine. Just basically say the same thing, but without a microphone and a green screen. But the closest I've ever been to get to submitting content, and so I still have to do that this week. Record another one for the green powder stuff. Very, very weird. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to get done for the podcast, for upcoming live shows, so I'm gonna try and take a step back from doing UGC stuff right now, just to free up my time doing other things, and then get back to that once I get this other stuff done. Assuming brands don't contact me and want me to do stuff that I think work. There was one that contacted me for like hair restoration. It was like, I don't know how I'm going to sell your product. But taking a break from doing the UGC stuff. On a personal note, the storm. So the Hurricane Hillary, that was a tropical storm hitting Southern California, really wasn't bad in my location. There were other parts of the Coachella Valley that got slammed, that got like massive mudslides and people having to be evacuated and bulldozers and roads closing and all that kind of stuff. But where I happen to be located, there was a couple moments of really drastic wind where it felt like an earthquake at one point, which there was actually an earthquake as well, but a couple big gusts of winds happened. But it's been windier here. It's rained more here. So it's kind of a situation where I think just because it was raining everywhere, it affected certain places instead of being more self-contained as other storms that have come through have. So it really wasn't bad where I was. Like, it really felt like all the stuff that I was seeing that happened in other parts of the valley feel crazy to see, because that wasn't my experience. Same thing with Ty, when I talked to him at the art show about his experience. Aside from he has a trampoline for his kids that blew away, thankfully didn't cause any damage, but other than that, it wasn't bad for him either. So kind of crazy how for both of us, and we kind of live in two different parts of the valley, but there's still other parts that just got completely slammed. So it was nice that it got a little bit colder. I liked the rain, but it is what it is. Let's see here. I don't want to talk about that. Artwork. So there's an artist, Kayla Yeager. Is a Canadian artist that I follow. She creates art. She paints, and she paints very similar type of, not style necessarily, but process that I do. She's very in the moment. She doesn't know what the finished piece is going to look like until it's done. She calls it an intuitive art, and I wanted to collect some of her work. I like her work. It does kind of remind me of the work I do. A lot of faces in her stuff, very bright, colorful stuff. So I was able to collect one of her pieces, which was really great. And the piece I got doesn't necessarily reflect her overall style. Like, the piece that spoke to me doesn't have faces in it, but still texturally has a lot of things that elements that are in her other work that I like. And she wrote me a letter telling me about what it was like when she painted it, early pandemic, kind of depressed type of a situation, and very cool. And she also sent me stickers, magnets, other prints of her other work, so a lot of extra stuff, which was amazing. But I love being able to collect other artists. I have, a small collection of artwork from other artists that I've known, like Adriel Restrepo. I've got a big piece from him that I love. It's like one of my favorite pieces. I got one from Dan Worms, from another Canadian artist. But yeah, slowly, when there's an artist that I like, that I'm friends with, and they do good work, I want to be able to support them and buy their work when I can. So got a new piece to add. I got a frame for it. I just need to find a place to hang it. Let's take a quick break from this episode because I want to promote. Are you looking for a way to take your love of The Ray Taylor Show to the next level? Look no further than Inspired Disorder Plus. As a member, you'll get access to a whole host of amazing perks, including the full week of shows, ad-free in both audio and video versions, a live painting archive, early access to the many faces, members-only discounts and deals, a podcast back catalog with over 600 episodes. But that's not all. As a member, you'll get access to my personal blog as well as my creative writing. You'll also get the chance to ask me anything you want. With all of these benefits and more, Inspired Disorder Plus is a must-have for any fan of the Ray Taylor Show. So don't wait. Go sign up now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and start enjoying all of the amazing perks of the membership. And now, let's get back to the show, which is great. And we've talked, like, it's been nice to talk to her about art, the stresses of being an artist. She recently became a full-time artist. She's doing a lot of live shows up in Canada. She's doing a lot of different things, talking about the stresses of social media, all these kinds of things. So it's fun to have people to talk to that know the grind and know the stress and the drama that can come along with trying to be an artist today. So thankful I got to collect some of her work. As far as my mental health, like I said, actually kind of felt a little bit all over the place, but nothing too extreme previous to the art show. But like I said, after the art show, on my way home at Target, I was just like absolutely depressed and still kind of feel like I'm in a very weird headspace right now still. But mental health, took a turn, as it does for anybody that's been following me on the show. I do mental health updates because it's not always the same. It does change quite a bit. And it did Saturday night, definitely did, and then kind of took me out Sunday. Not to say that the drinking didn't exacerbate things. But as I like to do at the end of every episode, I like to highlight something that I'm thankful for. And this week, I am thankful for the Flat Black Gallery, a.k.a. Flat Black Art Supply, and Pete from Flat Black, local gallery. I love that they are open to up-and-coming artists, as opposed to many of the other galleries in the Valley that seem to not be so open to helping newcomers show their work. There's a lot of other galleries that have like street art events that are only available for people that are already part of a gallery system, and not open to up-and-coming artists maybe, like myself. There's many of them that are not open to me because I'm not currently represented by a specific gallery where those shows are going on. So very thankful that Flat Black not only does part of the 111 Night Market, but also doing these group art shows, is there to help support and promote up-and-coming artists, doing group shows and solo shows and the different events and all that kind of stuff. I also like their vibe. Very much a street art supply. They sell a lot of spray paints and markers and things like that. They definitely have that street art vibe to them, which I appreciate that as well. The kind of unconventional art. I appreciate that. So Flat Black, love them. They also do murals, a lot of murals around town. There's like a tattoo shop, which I don't know how affiliated they are with Flat Black, but all of those kinds of things that they are working on and related to, I love. So this week, I am very thankful for Flat Black, not only for allowing me to be part of this group show, which hopefully I will have more opportunities to be in more shows going forward through them, but also the 111 Night Market that they are affiliated with and other things that they do around town. And hopefully I want to go and get some, probably when I go pick up my painting, I want to pick up some shirts that they have for sale there. They have a lot of cool shirts from different artists, as well as I want to get one with their logo on it. So I'm thankful for Flat Black this week. Upcoming events. As I said, there are events coming up. The art events at the end of September is the 111 Night Market is coming back at the end of September. It's in association with Brand Sesh, which is a recently established and cost-effective monthly pop-up that's hosting an official launch event September 30th from 5 p.m. to 5 to 11 p.m., that's where I will be participating at the 111 Night Market in association with that. Brand Sesh is a cannabis-friendly farmers market / street fair. The Sesh is nestled at the breathtaking backdrop of Desert Hot Springs, California, right in the heart of the Coachella Valley, in between the Springs and Canna-Business Park. So that is where I will be. Details to exactly where you should go in Desert Hot Springs I will have over at inspireddisorder.com/events. It is an event 21 and over. You have to buy tickets to this event. So I will have links and all of that in my events page, which I have yet to set up. But hopefully by the time this episode comes out, I will have that all set up and ready to go. If you want to attend this cannabis-friendly, there's going to be a bunch of cannabis-related vendors there. There's going to be artists there like myself selling artwork and prints and all that kind of stuff. So you can go inspireddisorder.com/events for all upcoming live and local events. And then there's another one at the end or back in November. There's going to be another event starting up again. Regular event starting up then. But the next one is September 30th from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. in Desert Hot Springs as part of the Brand Sesh cannabis-friendly farmers market / street fair. Information for that, inspireddisorder.com/events. I'm also thankful for the opportunity to connect with all of you through this podcast and to have the chance to share my journey with you. Please join the conversation by leaving a comment or rating on your favorite podcast platform or over on youtube.com/inspireddisorder, as all of these episodes are available in video forms. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next Saturday for another episode of Rayz Dayz. Subscribe to The Ray Taylor Show on YouTube and everywhere podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Purchase Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.